Hi everyone, hope you're well and keeping safe during these extremely challenging times we find ourselves in. I didn't think that we would get to week 5 and I would be recording a finance update on a selfie stick, but we're here nevertheless. Hopefully my children don't invade the room whilst I'm talking to you guys. I just like to first of all just thank everybody for the level of teamwork and working together to change and adapt to the current crisis. I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic, the level of teamwork and working together to try and make all this happen. And obviously the way that we are now operating at home, it's still, the centre's obviously operational, the animal rescue officers, inspectors still out there on the roads and at people's doors. It's just incredible the level of teamwork that's just made the show still be on the road, and thanks to every one of you. It's been makes you really proud to work for the society. Moving on to finances, I think from a pleasing perspective, certainly considering the lockdown we found ourselves in, the impact of the pandemic on our finances have held up relatively well so far. Certainly the period 3 accounts, which are the accounts to the end of March, will be published in the next few days. So line managers obviously will have these. Absolutely happy for you to share these with teams. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to ask. Myself, Kirstine, the rest of the senior management team are more than happy to answer any questions you might have around where the numbers are going and where we're trying our best to kind of save some funds to try and adapt to the new model that we're operating in. I think some people have touched on reserves and asked the question, do we have reserves? Yes, we do. We have about 10 months worth of reserves which are invested in equities at the moment. Certainly we wouldn't want to be in a position where we're liquidating them. Certainly if those 10 months worth of reserves disappear, that would leave a shortfall roughly of about £600,000 annually, because the reserves actually generate about £600,000 worth of income every year. But they're there regardless of that. We don't want to be in that position where we're liquidating them, but they are there for that purpose should we require them. In terms of income, year to date, certainly our main income source obviously has been legacies for a number of years. Legacies has held up really well for the first quarter of the year. We're slightly up on last year at this time, and we're a good bit up on budget year to date, which is great. Obviously, legacies is very unpredictable. We'll just have to continually monitor it. We've done some work over the last year in terms of the legacy campaign we did last year to try and refresh the materials we had. Certainly that seems to be have been well received by solicitors and donors, so hopefully we will start to see more and more people really engaging with the legacy ask, and hopefully over time people will continue to support the society through legacy giving. One area of fundraising which we have experienced a wee bit of attrition has been around membership. Certainly the last couple of years the society probably has lost more members than it's gained, and 2020 has started in a similar vein where we've lost about 1,500 members year to date, and then we've gained about 600. So the net position is that we've lost about 900 members since the start of the year. And we are working hard to try and address that. I mean, certainly the levels of attrition have slowed down quite significantly, but people may have seen the Don't Forget the Animal social media campaign and the Bowl campaign, which was on STV, I think it started yesterday. So these campaigns are very much with a plan to try and reduce attrition and obviously gain some growth across membership across the weeks and months ahead. So that's obviously an area which is a wee bit of a concern, but we certainly have plans in place to address. It won't be as a surprise to many people that things that we had planned for this year, like community fundraising and events, are certainly going to be particularly badly affected by the pandemic. We're predicting a big shortfall here. It's unlikely that many of these events will actually happen. And I know the fundraising team have been looking to develop a host of digital fundraising apps to try and bridge that gap between what might be a reality on community and events and where we would like to be at the end of this year. One area of fundraising where we've done relatively well so far has been trust funding. Ailsa Alcock, she's certainly she's been at the centre of a lot of the trust applications. Ailsa's doing a fantastic job, certainly around engaging with trusts and getting the applications in to try and generate revenue, and that's been it's done exceptionally well to start the year. So fingers crossed that will continue. People will obviously know that our animal rescue centres are closed to the public at the moment. That as a result of that has seen quite a significant drop in our donation income, our rehoming income, our boarding income. And just to give you some context to that, if our centres were closed for a 3-month period, and we were unable to rehome and board and take in stray dogs, for example, in the West, then we would be looking at somewhere in the region of £220,000 reduction in our income over that period. So we're needing obviously to change plans. Obviously the rehoming side of it, we're currently looking at the moment. We want to start rehoming, but we need to do it in a safe and appropriate way. And I know that line managers are developing plans as we speak to try and to be able to do that as soon as we possibly can. Whilst there's been challenges to fundraising and our ability to generate revenue through our animal rescue centres, the restriction in people's movements has obviously brought around some cost savings as well. Our frontline services, which obviously are our largest cost within our cost base, within the inspectorate, we've decided thus far to not recruit seasonal staff, as we anticipated a drop in numbers of jobs. So far this has proven to be the sensible decision. Obviously it's something we can monitor, and we do have a lot of evidence and tools now which give us really good insight as to what's happening out there in the front line. So that we may well relook at the seasonal position over the weeks and months ahead. And as a result, obviously, we're not out and about as much. At this moment in time, we will be saving money on fuel. At this moment in time, we'd normally be spending roughly about £4,000 a week on fuel, but that has kind of fallen to about £2,500. And it's been great that everybody has really very much tried to embrace how we can save funds across the board, and thank you very much for that. One thing that we have taken advantage of is obviously the job retention scheme. We obviously have some colleagues on furlough at this moment in time. The decision to furlough staff has obviously been evidence-based, and we'll look forward to welcoming the furloughed staff back, hopefully in the near future. I mean, the society as a whole obviously is evolving, it's changing. I think certainly in the 12 years I've been with the society, probably this is the biggest period of change I think I've ever seen, compounded with obviously a pandemic, just to kind of put some obstacle in the way. But I think we've managed things very sensibly financially over the years. We go into this unprecedented situation in decent shape. We've started the year very well, and certainly over the course of the remainder of the year, we will continue to kind of look at the evidence that we have around service levels and making proper decisions around where we would spend funds to obviously enhance our services. We'll be campaigning hard over the rest of 2020 to try and secure legacies, bring more supporters on board, one-off donations, and try and just generate as much revenue as we possibly can. I mean, we've got great plans in place, and we've got great staff to deliver these plans, and I think the society certainly is in a very decent position to be able to weather this storm. And that's down to you guys. I mean, obviously all the hard work that's gone in to formulate plans for 2020, all the hard work that's going on around delivering excellence and working in teams to do things slightly differently, and hopefully I'm absolutely confident that we will come out of this the other end better off for this, and that's thanks to all the hard work that you guys have done, certainly thus far during the pandemic. I mean, it's as I touched on earlier, it's just been absolutely fantastic level of teamwork, and I can't thank you enough for that. So that's really me signing off. Thankfully, my sons have not invaded the room where I'm sitting in at the moment. That doesn't mean to say that that won't happen in a minute's time, but just a big thank you to everybody. Everybody keep safe. Obviously, I touched on, we'll try and deliver some monthly updates around how we're getting on. And if anybody's got any questions along the way, please let me know. And I'm sure myself and the senior management colleagues will be happy to answer any questions you might have. But that's me signing off. Thanks very much, everyone. Any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you.